another episode of The Male Perspective. I am your host, Lana Reid, and today I know I'm going to have a good conversation. I have a man here named Malik Murray. He is just phenomenal, doing a lot of stuff. He's a businessman, motivational speaker, and one of the most important titles that I think is important, he is a father. As he says, becoming a father takes courage and consistency to show up for your children. So I think that's wonderful, amazing. Welcome to the show, Malik. Thank you for making time for me today.
Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure and honor to be here. Thank you so much, Lana Reid.
Thank you. So we're going to talk about a few things, I think, today. I'm going to try to pack it in 30 minutes, but I want to first talk about fatherhood. Okay.
Mm.
Now, you have a daughter. I think I saw the picture.
Yeah, I have a 3-year-old daughter, and now I have my son is 9 months. He just turned 9 months the
Oh,
other day.
congrats.
Yeah.
3 years old and a nine. Okay. So I want to ask you, before becoming a father,
Hmm.
before becoming a father, what did you think being a father was going to be like?
Oh man, to be honest, before becoming a father, I didn't even think about what it would be like. Like I was so self-centered,
Oh, at least
and just
honest.
oh yeah, it was all about me.
Okay.
When you don't have kids and children, and it's about you. So
Hmm.
for that, it's like it's about me. Now I did have great examples because my
Hmm.
dad was in a home, and my uncles and stuff like that. So I had great examples of what to do and what not to do.
Okay.
So I had an idea. My older brother, he was a father before me, or is a father before me. So I had great examples, but I wasn't thinking about kids or children. I was
Okay.
thinking about my life and my
Me.
time.
Yes. So, in this 3 years, well, three plus,
Mm,
because the 9 months for the baby to grow,
right.
what has been your biggest aha adjustment moment to becoming a father?
My time is no longer mine.
Oh.
And the vulnerability, I think, is the biggest thing,
Mhm.
especially with my daughter. My son is still young, but they're both young, but my daughter's at that age now, like the vulnerability, like I have to be vulnerable to my daughter,
Mhm.
and be gentle and those are things that, I believe that fathers aren't really taught.
Mhm.
It's something that it's something that every day, I have to show up in that way, like to be a
Mhm.
little more gentle and compassionate, with loving my daughter and interacting with my daughter,
Mhm.
and that's the aha moment really, because
Okay.
like I said, before kids, it was about let's go play basketball, let's go work out, let's go to the beach,
Mhm.
let's go hang out with the fellas, and now it's like, oh, no, all of that stopped, all of that just stopped. And
Okay.
now it's like, man, let's have a tea party with my 3-year-old.
I
You
hope the
know,
fellas don't see me, right?
she's like, Daddy, can I paint your nails?
I
And I'm
know.
like,
Oh gosh.
yes, yes. Yeah, so it's like we have tea parties, we have little parties. So, for me, that's like, that's the warming part of my heart, but that's the vulnerability that, and that vulnerability shows up in other areas in my
Mhm.
life, which is amazing. It
No.
shows up for, being vulnerable to my wife, being vulnerable in business, being
Awesome.
vulnerable, helping other people, whatever it is, right?
Mhm.
So it's a key component that I've learned, and that's the aha moment for sure.
Awesome. Now, I'm gonna ask you a question. I was having a conversation with a younger guy a couple of weeks ago, and he was a new father as well, and he had a daughter. She was a few months old, and I've known him for quite some time, and he was quite the ladies' man in his younger day.
Mhm.
So the question I had for him was, now that you have a daughter, does it make you have any hindsight or retrospect about you as a young man? Because now you have this young girl that you're raising, and you're like, "Ooh, I remember how I was with the ladies." Do you have any kind of
Absolutely. I mean, look, absolutely. Okay, so all right, so
just honest
my
moment,
filter, yeah. The filter is up, and I'm like, let's take the filter down.
honest?
So I mean, look, I'm in a fraternity. I'm
Mm.
a proud member of Omega Psi Phi
Oh,
fraternity.
my
I go to
favorite.
Omega.
Okay.
Yeah, so the bros, the Q.
Mm.
So one of the things, with the bros, we have a reputation of being ladies men, you know. So some of the things that I've, you know, experienced, seen, and with the bros, you know, yeah, you know, they're when I look at my daughter now, I'm like, wow, I have to protect her, right? I'm like, wow, but not in a sense where, in a sense where I have to teach her how she's supposed to be loved by me loving her. She's the first person, that first man she'll be in love with. So I have to teach her what that looks like, and continuously, you know, show her how to be treated, you know, as a woman, and as a young girl. And so, yeah, when I look at it, but I've always respected, and I've always, you know, been loving and caring to women, because my mom raised me that way. You know, so, you know, even when I see the bros, like, I correct them. You know what I mean? They don't want to hear it, but I correct them. You know, because I've always had that affection, you know, towards women, and things of that nature. But now it's a whole nother level. You know, like, you know, I'm shining up the shotgun, and, you know, I'm testing for my second degree black belt. Like, you know, I'm doing everything. You know.
So I feel her pain. Her freshman year in college, she brings home
Oh,
a Q dog and says, "Dad, this is my new boyfriend."
yeah, yeah. It's going to be like either like Bad Boys, or it's going to be like Den of Thieves, or, you know, one of those scenes, if not both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I heard you mention that you had good examples, and you mentioned your father as one. Um, what do you feel the lessons you learned from your father about being a father?
Yeah, well, let me just preface it like this, because, you know, I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying, like, I lost my dad in
Oh,
2015. Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah. So no, it's fine. You know, so, you know, some of the lessons that I learned is, he is definitely, or is, you know, was, he showed up. You know, he was the father to a lot of fatherless kids in the neighborhood in Philly, growing up in
awesome.
Philly. So he was that dad, right? Like, we played basketball, and when the kids, when my buddies had problems and my friends had problems, they would come to my pop, right? Pop,
Hmm.
we got a question, you know, we got a girl question, or, you know, we got a job question, like, you
Hmm.
know, or how do we handle the situation at work, you know? So he was their mentor, you know, to hundreds and hundreds, just a lot of young men, young black men in Philadelphia, you know. So his example was the standard was high, you know. So, you know, he taught us how to be compassionate. He taught us how to provide for our family and be there for our family. You know, he
Okay.
he taught us how to love each other, you know.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that and he also gave us a creative voice. He said, always find your voice, you know, even in the midst of chaos. You know, no
Awesome.
matter what's going on in the world, your voice matters, you
Okay.
know. And he told that to my brother, and my two sisters, and, you know, and it resonated with us, and it still does today. So that's why, you know, I do the things that I do, you know, in the community. I do the
Hmm.
things that I do, you know, within my family, and just with anyone who I come in contact with, for sure.
Love it, love it. Now, listening to you talk, it seems like you and I have the same foundation. We both come from a solid family structure. Mom was there, dad was there. And I do a lot of relationship seminars with women. And one of the things that I'm consistently hearing, because a lot of the guests that attend are younger women, 25, 26, who are recently married, but the story is the same over and over again. They have no role models. They don't
Mhm.
have anybody in their family that they can look to that comes from a two family household. So they're trying to create a new norm. So these are all millennials who are struggling to develop these relationships, these marriages, but they really don't have any foundation. Um, you've been around for a few years, I'm assuming. Um, why do you feel that millennials really are having a more difficult time with this whole relationship scene? Because even my daughter's 25, and it just seems like they're coming and they're going. There's nothing that's sticking. It just seems like relationships are more more complicated these days for people.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. You know, one of the things I think about with millennials is, you know, it's a different age in terms of how they consume information, for one,
Gotcha.
and also just how they live, right?
Hmm.
Like, you don't necessarily have to own a car, right? You
Hmm.
can take a Lyft or Uber anywhere you want to go. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And it's like that fast. Let's go. We can get here. We don't have to do this. We are not. tied. You don't have to live at home. Like now you work remotely. So you can
Mhm.
be in, Cabo, or you can be anywhere in the world doing your job. So
Mhm.
you don't necessarily have to be in one place, which makes it very difficult to actually stay in a relationship, because a relationship takes a lot of effort, energy, and not even compromise, just understanding, right?
Mhm.
So in order to do that, there's some things that you got to work on, and being apart, whether you're on two separate coasts. And I can speak from this and speak to this because my wife and I were we dated. I was on the West Coast, she was on the East Coast. We dated for 2 years. We were engaged for like 6 months, and then we were married for another year. So we were apart for 5 years before we actually came together. You know what I
Wow.
mean? So I could speak to that in terms of how difficult. It's twofold, because it was great. It built our communication, it built everything, but that physical touch and that experience of being together, that intimacy, like that wasn't there. And there was a
Mhm.
void there. So the relationship, it grew to a point, but after that, we had to get in each other's space. And I think that with millennials, I think that they're on the go so much, and that's one of the reasons. And another reason is perhaps they never saw married couples.
Yeah.
Perhaps their parents weren't married, perhaps they didn't come from a two-parent household, right? It's a little different for me and my wife, because her mother, grandparents, all of them are still married. So
Mhm.
we understand what it takes to be in a marriage, right? In a partnership, that the struggles and the challenges that go with it. And some of the millennials may not be as, they may not be willing to, for one, give up the freedom, or willing to give up that much of themselves at this particular age, to make a relationship flourish and grow.
Okay.
So that's my thoughts,
That's
and I could be wrong. Yeah. And also, it's like at 25, was I really in a relationship? You know what I mean? Like, was I in a committed relationship, in a long-term committed
Yeah.
relationship? I entertained it, but at the end of the day, it wasn't until I got to a place of maturity where it was like, you know what, I really want to be in this relationship. And my wife,
Okay.
so be it. Like, we've known each other. I met her in college, freshman year in college, or no, I'm sorry, sophomore year in college. I didn't go there, but my brother went to school with her, and I met her, and we dated for 2 years, and then we were apart. Like, we broke up. And then we got back together, man, almost 15, 17 years later, and now we've been married for 5 years. So it
Oh.
doesn't necessarily mean that the relationship, just because it doesn't work right now, that's not going to work in the future, right? I believe that, if there's something there, between two people, if there's a kismet or a kinetic energy or
Mhm.
something between you two, it's like, give it time, because sometimes in life we all have to mature in our own way, in our own time,
Mhm.
and if you want to take it spiritually, if God has put that person in your life, no matter how you look at it, you can't
Yes.
run away from them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's
Like,
right. That's right.
so,
That's going to happen, right? Yeah.
so that's how I look at it, especially with millennials, and just dating in today's time.
Okay. Now you help millennials, especially with fatherhood. Now, I'm one of them nosy females. Sometimes out in public, I do a lot. I do a lot of ear hustling, and sometimes I hear the young guys have these conversations. If I'm in the store, or something like that, and they they might have a child with a young lady, or they might just be seeing a young lady, but I got options, man. I got options. I ain't trying to
Yeah.
sell. I got options.
Mhm.
But when I hear that there's a child involved, me, and maybe I'm a little old fashioned, I feel like you should be more proactive about the whole fatherhood thing, and not that ideology that I got options, because you really, you've now created this life with this person. So we really should, unless it's such a volatile situation, or maybe we should be more proactive before bringing life into this world. But
Mhm.
millennials,
Mhm.
it just seems like, and I think that's an energy about everything with millennials, because they have options everywhere.
Right. Mhm.
So I don't know. It just seems to not be beneficial. The philosophy of I have options, and especially when you're bringing children into this world.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a great question. Great point. Like, let's be honest, you know, yeah, I mean, and that's one of the things that I do, right? I attack that area
Hmm.
because there's a difference between male and being a man. And
Hmm.
there's a book that I highly recommend to a lot of, millennials who are stepping into fatherhood,
Hmm.
and just stepping into manhood. And it's by Dondre Whitfield.
Hmm.
It's called Male versus Man, and it's a
Hmm.
great, great read, right? But what he breaks down is the fact that because you have, and I'm gonna just be direct, because you have, a penis
Hmm.
doesn't mean, and you're able to make a child. It doesn't mean that you are a man,
That's right.
right? There's a difference between the two, and a lot of people are stuck in that male phase,
Hmm.
right? How many women can I sleep with, or how many women can I be with? Whereas though the man, or how he puts it, and I really really like this book. He puts it like a male is looking to be serviced or served, and a man is looking to serve people and
Hmm.
give service. So it's a difference, right? And that's that egotistical, that male chauvinistic mindset of it's about me, 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 me. As you noticed when I said earlier, when I was younger, that's what it was about. Me,
Hmm.
me, 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 me. And now it's about my daughter, my son, my family, servicing people, helping people heal. Like that's what it's about for me now. So, one of the things about these young males is that they don't understand the damage that's happening, right?
Mm.
So let's talk about that. So it's the damage that they're doing to these young mothers, right? And the damage that they're doing to these women, and is damaging the family, right?
Hmm.
Which automatically damages the community, right?
That's right.
So now it damages the whole family dynamic that was meant, to be set up as a business. Even in the
Hmm.
Bible, it talks about how marriage is a business for you both to grow and flourish and live out and invest and do all of these things. So now you're taking away the essence of what the actual family dynamic is about, because you don't get it. Like, you're a male, you want to go out and you want to be a predator, you want to go out and you want to go do all these things, as opposed to taking care of your child. Now let's go to the child aspect. The child and the children aspect is, now not only are you damaging the mother, you're damaging your children, because they
Hmm.
don't have you at home, right? And
Hmm.
I know how important it is, because I'm home with my children, right?
Hmm.
One day is it's if I travel or whatever, like when I traveled back east and came back for a couple of days, it was like it wasn't right. So I
Hmm.
could just imagine when you're not in the home, right? I could just imagine your presence when you're not there. How is your daughter being raised? Like, how does she know how to choose a mate, right? How does she know how to do that, right? How does she know how to interact with a male, right? And then
Hmm.
your son, how does he know how to have to have compassion and be a man? And how does he even know how to shave, or whatever the case may
Hmm.
be?
Hmm.
So these are all things that is damaging, with these young men and in their perspectives, and and this is where I come in, and I'm very direct, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I think that those are the conversations that need to be had. We don't need to have these sugar coated conversations, like, and then we don't need to just say, get yourself together. Okay, what does that mean? What does that mean, get yourself together? Maybe they don't know how to get themselves together, because once again, the cycle continues. The generational curse of
Yes.
the father wasn't in the household. They're still in that generational curse, some of them, right?
Hmm.
You know, and so it's like, how do we get to a point where we break that generational curse, or even give them the tools
Hmm.
that they need to break it? They have to do the work, right? Like, they have to do the work, but how do we give them the tools that they need, and to believe in themselves that they can do it, and put them in atmospheres and environments where they can grow around each other, right?
Okay.
So yeah. So I don't know if I answered your question, but
Yeah.
that's one of the things that's really near and dear to my heart, because it plays a major role. And here's the thing: you don't necessarily have to be, married in the same house to have a partner. Like, these millennials are, it's a lot of different language going on, and a lot of different there's a lot of new norms, right? And it's
Hmm.
fine. But the point is, you have to be in a child's life.
Hmm.
it plays a major role in their development and everything.
Yes, and we're saying a general term millennials, but I want to be more specific and say Black millennials. I really
Okay,
think
perfect.
that us as a Black community, and to heal a lot of things, to fix a lot of
Yeah,
things, to
yeah,
change course about a lot of things, we really need to get these younger kids to understand the impact of some of their actions when it comes to long term,
yeah.
and the out of the family structure, the family unit, so many things blossom. Our educational, our finances, creating generational wealth, all of that comes down, boils back down to us having cohesive family units.
Absolutely.
And I really think male and female millennials really need to understand the impact of just, it's not about I have options. But, also it's hard because I was young, and the world is mine, and I'm not looking for the future. Why am I thinking long term? But um, I remember my grandparents always saying, "What you do has an impact on all of us, not just you." So but I really like I said, for a Black community, it's very important that we ch- change course with fractured family units. So
Mm,
I think we need to
mm.
understand that.
I completely, the way you just put that was just so eloquent and just, it was just perfection because, yeah, absolutely. That's we're fractured, we're
Mm-hmm.
broken. And even in the pandemic right now, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of healing that has take place. I believe 2021 is a year of healing, right? And we have to do it, right? And one of the things that, that I'm seeing and starting to see or want to see more of and would love to be contributing to is you don't even having options is great, right? You can have options, right? But one thing I believe, you said it earlier about generational wealth, right? One thing I believe is that there's no option for you not to have generational wealth and create
Mm-hmm.
generational wealth, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so if you want to date, as a millennial or, a Black millennial and you want to date several people, that's fine. But make sure that you're learning about investing in your community,
Mm-hmm.
real estate, make
Mm-hmm.
sure you're learning about, whatever it is that is going to provide generational wealth for when you do have a family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, you may not even, you're right. I didn't think about, like I said earlier, I wasn't thinking about children and all of that. But had I had the information when I was 22, 23, 24, I would have invested, probably in like Amazon or something like that. And it would
Mm-hmm.
have been different or Apple, right? So these are things that I'm like, man, it's important that, the millennials, which I see a lot of them doing, well, is, and I'm not going to bash millennials, but one thing that is my pet peeve, okay? I'm gonna just say this, right? And I'm sorry if I offend anyone, but I'm gonna say it. This is just who I am. I think that there's a lot of smoke with a lot of millennials, right? And no fire, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're always, they got the answer and they're moving fast and they're moving and shaking and it always appears good. But on
Mm-hmm.
the inside, there's
Mm-hmm.
really nothing going on,
No
right? And I
substance.
think no substance. And I think that, and it's not all. Like
Mm-hmm.
I would never paint everyone with a broad brush, right? That's not what I'm doing. But who I am speaking to are those who are just putting up the facade like they have everything together, they know everything, and
Mm-hmm.
when they go at home and close the door and look in the mirror, they're trying to figure it out,
Yeah.
right? So my thing is, this is where the bridge needs to be built, where there needs to be some humility, where you can
Mm-hmm.
have someone that's from a different generation teach you, pour into you, and and then you pour into them, and now that bridge is built. And I think
Yeah.
that would be able to, it'd be able to not only solve a lot of issues, but it'd be able to begin the healing process.
Yes, I think I had read a couple of months ago an article. It was talking about some research about social media and the generation that has grown up on it, and the side effects that it's created. We see suicide
Yeah,
increasing because uh, this generation is so lonely because they're
yeah,
living off of these perceptions that they're creating on social media. They're really disconnected and stuff like that, and this giving this perception of I am this great person when inside there's really no substance. And it speaks
hmm
to, some of what you were saying. But I think that the world that they live in has created certain monsters and demons in them that,
yeah,
generations ago we just never really had to deal with. So
yeah. That's real. That's honest.
Yeah, but I do want to say one thing, give you some kudos to Omega Psi Phi. I had a passion for you guys in undergrad, but one of the things I really enjoy about you guys graduate school and thereafter is, and no disrespect to the other ones because I love them too, but you guys are very, very much involved in the community. And I know in a couple of
Hmm.
different states that I've traveled to, you have some wonderful mentorship programs with young men,
Absolutely.
stuff like that. And I think it's beautiful. I think it's wonderful because you learn how to be a man from somebody who looks like you. So I think that's a
Hmm.
wonderful, wonderful thing. Now,
Thank you.
I have ran my mouth about fatherhood, and I wanted to ask you one more question, but can I take
Okay.
up a few more minutes of your time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Go
and
for
then
it.
because I want to talk about the book. Um, so me and you were talking before about before we got started taping about the chaos that happened yesterday,
Mm.
and on social media and in some quiet conversation chats amongst the black folks, we have been watching this and saying if that had been us,
Hmm.
the situation would have been completely different. And it
Mm.
brings to light the two different Americas that we are living in. When it comes to fatherhood, um, and you have a daughter and you have a son, uh, as they grow, what will your conversations be like with them stepping out as Black people into this world?
Yeah, that right there, that's a tough one. So first off, the first thing that I will do is they will both get into martial arts.
Mhm.
That's a discipline that I'm into, and it teaches me inner peace.
Okay.
And I think that with all of the anger and everything that we all deal with as Black men, black women, just Black people,
Hmm.
we have to find an outlet that is healthy. And for me, martial arts is a way, and meditation and stuff like that, and journaling is a way. So
Hmm.
I'm going to teach. My daughter loves yoga right now. And just to stay when she gets hyper and upset, she gets centered. So
Okay.
I'm going to teach both of my children that, because they're going to need that to be the leaders, in this world that they're going to become, and to live in their gift, right, and to walk in that with purpose, right,
Hmm.
and to not let anyone strip them of who they are, right, and their purpose, their God-given purpose, right, and their
Hmm.
calling over their life, right, and for them also to not be afraid of law enforcement or afraid of anyone who is of authority, right, but
Hmm.
to be under the authority of God, right,
Hmm.
and to know that they can interact with any male, woman, any person, of any race, gender, anything, with a calm, tone, and with their own power, right, and still under the authority of God, but also respectable, but with their power. And
Hmm.
even when people try to trigger them and push their buttons, for them to be able to have their composure, but still impact whoever it is, that they're in, that they are interacting with, so that, it's going to start there. That
Okay.
seed is being planted right now. And the conversation I'm going to have to them is, I'm going to show them videos about Dr. Martin Luther King, the civil rights movement. I'm going to show them Black Lives Matter movement. I'm going to teach them about our history. I'm going to
Hmm.
teach them about it from a young age. They already, my daughter already knows, right? So we're going to continue. My wife and I are going to continue, and the whole family are going to continue to pour into them, so they can be prepared, as best as possible, to go out here in this world, right? And to come from a place of peace, right?
Hmm.
Because it's going to happen, right? Like,
Hmm.
it's going to happen, right? Um, so, and I'm going to tell them, that everyone, and it depends, like, I'm going to start by telling them that everyone doesn't have a good heart like you, right? Everyone judges you by the color of your skin. They don't
Hmm.
know your character, and that's
Hmm.
why that peace thing plays a major role, at inner peace, so they can, so at whatever conflict comes up, they can still present who they are in a very eloquent way, in a very passionate way, in a very powerful way, but not, and it can be in a threatening way, but in a threatening way that's not going to get them killed, right?
Yes.
So these are conversations, these are seeds that I will plant along the way as they continue to get older, and show them and put them in scenarios that they, that they can see what it feels like, right? So it's a real thing, right?
Hmm.
It's not, it's not something that is one conversation is gone, because it's
It's
ongoing,
okay.
right? So, and as we look at it, we look at we just look at where we are today, right? We look at white privilege. I'm gonna tell them about white
Mm-hmm.
privilege, right? We're gonna have these conversations, in a healthy way in our household, so they can be well informed as they walk out into the world.
Okay.
And I think that every parent should have those conversations from a very young age, and let them see what the world that we live in is really like. And also, they may not even live in America. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Say we got plans. We might not
Like
even be.
that's the flip side. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the deep part. The light part is
Yeah.
they can just be visiting America, and
Fam, we
that's the
might
real
get.
talk. They
Yeah,
may be
we
like,
might
I'm
get.
living in Europe.
That's right. Got to go. A lot of us did go. It just got to be too much. But I want to, and thank you for that. I
Yeah.
like the point that the conversation should be ongoing, because I know a lot of parents, not only Black, but just parents of color, they just don't have the conversation at all, and live in a bubble. Like, if you just apply yourself and do your best, people will see you for your value, and that's not always true. People see this before they
Yep.
see that you're capable. So
And you know
yeah.
what that is? That's a disservice, but it's also not having the language that they need to
Hmm.
teach their children. And that's the thing. When we don't have the language that we need in a relationship, in a business endeavor, whatever it is, we just put out there whatever is out there.
Hmm.
And that's one of the things that's why it's so important that we really invest in ourselves, and really develop, and really have the tough conversations when they're needed.
That's right. Tough conversations. Now I want to talk about your book, and I want, because I want to make sure I get to this. Um, you have an ebook coming out called Unlocking Your Gifts and Purpose in Life. And I paused for a reason, because I was nosy on your website before we met today, and you have a video, Inner Peace.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And as I was reading the title, it just clicked. I had wanted to talk about that, but I didn't get a chance to talk about it. We're gonna talk about the book,
Yeah.
Unlocking Your Gifts and Purpose in Life. What is the book about, dear?
Yeah, so unlocking your gifts and finding purpose in life
Finding
is
purpose.
is about that, right? It's about healing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's about, some people have, they're trying to figure out, who they are, and not just in the pandemic, just in their life. Like, some people are in jobs that is not their calling. They're at a job that is not their work. We all have a life work inside of us, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
gift, that a God-given gift that God gave us, right? And we just don't know we've gotten so far away from it, because we've been preoccupied with the job, that we don't even know what our work is, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
believe that this book is going to help people understand what that work is. And one of the things, and it's a purpose behind it, right? So, and it doesn't necessarily mean that some people, some people may be in their life's work, but maybe they're burnt out, and they don't know that they're in their life's work, but they're too stressed because of everything that's going on. So this book is not only just, it touches on that, it's a workbook where, there's visuals in there that sets the scene, sets the tone, for you to actually do the work. Each
Mm-hmm.
chapter, I believe, is going to transform some part of you, for whatever it is, right? For whoever it is. It may not be straight through, right? It may just be chapter 6, chapter 5, maybe whatever it is that connects to you at that particular time. And I wrote this book because I really want to bring healing, to in
Mm-hmm.
restoration, to marriages, to people who are gifted, right? To talented people, right? To creatives, and to people who are dreamers, and I just really want to awaken and reawaken these gifts inside of them, and that's really the reason that I wrote it. And I believe that, I have a workbook in the back of it, without giving too much away. I have a workbook in there that it's like, if you do the work, you'll see how gifted you are, and at whatever stage you are. And
Mm-hmm.
some people are, they're very talented, but they don't know how to be in a relationship. This
Mm-hmm.
will help you unlock the gift of the relationship, right? And it'll help you in every area, or any area of your life that you feel that your gift has been stagnant or grown dormant.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I wrote it. I really want to ignite a fire, inside of someone. And if they already have that fire, I want to pour gasoline on it so it becomes an inferno, so they can live a life on purpose, whatever that is for you. Like you can live a life on purpose, even though your situation, your financial situation is not where you want to be, but you're not where you were, right? So I want to unlock some things in people, and I believe this book is going to do it. It's an ebook, it's very short ebook. It's not very short, but it's right under 100 pages, and it's also going to be, I'm also going to release the physical book. They'll have access to that when I do the launch, and around that. And it's not just about the book. I'm building an online community of uplift. I'm building an online community to encourage people, right? So I just want I want people to take this journey with me, and I want to take a journey with them, and I want to pour into people and bring some of my resources to them about real estate, investing, about generational wealth, about building your credit. I want to bring the professionals in to this community so they can actually grow. Right. And I'm not in this to rob them or do anything like that. That's not my purpose. My purpose is to help people unlock what's inside of them and just show them that they have something inside of them.
That's great. I know so many people, I've encountered so many people over the course of my years that have purpose and they're not walking in it, and they're dissatisfied, but somebody has told them that what they want to do is not viable, or they have responsibilities, like they have kids or something has thrown them off course, and they've gotten comfortable getting a paycheck, and I'm scared to do this. And you don't know how that is really destructive to your soul health, your mental health. And just to have, and especially if you have children watching you who don't see you step out there on faith or whatever you want to call it for you, and believe in yourself and your purpose and your passion. I mean, it's so debilitating if you don't walk in your purpose.
And there's a chapter about vision. And what vision is. And I mean, we know, we can go to scripture, people without vision will perish, and there's like a chapter specifically about vision. There's a chapter about fear, so there's a chapter speaking to all of those self-sabotaging thoughts and just the people who speak negatively over your life. And, so there's a chapter touching all of those points. And so that's why I'm excited about this book, and I'm gonna drop a little something that you don't know. I'm 90 pages through my second book too, so I'm already excited about that. But back to the unlocking your gifts and finding purpose in life. I really want people to dive in this book. I really do. I'm really excited about it.
That's great. So the 3-year-old let you, in between getting your nails painted and tea parties, the 3-year-old let you write. She let you write a book, huh?
and look, midnight to 4 a.m. Yes.
So this will be out at the end of this month?
Yes, it will be out towards the end of this month. The launch date is coming in the end of this month, but you can pre-order it right now. Okay. Yes, it is available for pre-order. And if you go to my website, which is malikkmurray.com, you can go there and go to the latest release and pre-order it, get on the email list, and then I'll shoot you an email right back on, that you're on the list, or how to pre-order it. And you can also go to my Instagram, just Malik K. Murray, or any of my handles, and then you can just click on the link in the bio and it'll take you directly to how to pre-order the book.
Okay, awesome. Well, I have taken up more of your time today than I was supposed to. I apologize for that, but I had a good time talking to you. We're going to do the random question, and then I want to have you give everybody how they pick up your website, because that's where they get the ebook, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll do that one more time, right?
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so let's do the random question here. Let's see what we got. If you won $1 million, what would you buy first?
Oh, wow. The first thing I would buy is, I'll buy a house. I would buy my mom a house. That would be the first thing I would buy.
Is my mom still in Philadelphia?
She's still in Philly, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I would, because I was going to say $1 million in LA, that'd probably be half of it, but
Yeah, that'd be all of it. That'd be that'd be like a quarter. A million? What you? $1 million? Okay, here's your 50 square foot home right
is this a
here.
down payment? Wait a minute.
Okay, great. So this is what you're putting down, but you still need to meet this amount in order to get the actual 30% down.
Okay. Awesome, awesome. So one more time, because you gave it to us already. Tell us
Yes.
how we connect with you so we can pre-order the ebook that will be available at the end of this month.
Yes. All right. So here we go. So you can pre-order the ebook. You can connect with me on my social media accounts, which is Malik K Murray. And then you can go to my Instagram, Malik K Murray, and you can go on the link in the bio and click on the link, and it'll take you directly to the website. And once you get to the website, then you'll be able to pre-order it. You'll get on the mailing list, and I'll get that book out to you right away, and you'll get how you actually can get the book when you click on that link. Give me your email address.
Okay. All right. If I had known that you was a Q, I'd have took us out of here with atomic dog.
Oh, you can't do that. I'd have been hopping over here and holding my back. You know what I mean?
Oh well. I was not informed, so I'm not prepared. But anyways, I appreciate you. I had a good time talking with you today. Thank you so much for your time, Malik.
No problem at all. It's been a pleasure, and thank you. I'm just honored to be on your show, and keep doing what you're doing. It's amazing, seriously.
Awesome. It's just me being nosy, just answering the question. That's it. But thank you. That is all for this week's episode of The Male Perspective. I'm your host, Lana Reid, and I will see everybody next time.